Annie Gibbons with Donuts and Pie Fitness, and I'm here with Gretchen Zellick. And today we are so excited to meet with Bruce Mylrea to talk about his journey. Bruce has a BA in economics and eCornell certified plant-based nutrition. He is an AFPA certified holistic nutritional counselor, and he spends hours each day reviewing the latest unbiased nutritional research. Bruce is focused and passionate in the education of others on the life-enhancing and life-extending benefits of whole food, plant-based nutrition. He is the SCW Male Presenter of the Year for 2017, and in 2017, the Lifetime Achievement Award for the CanFit Pro. That's pretty impressive. Bruce is the author of the book, A Plant-Powered Approach to Prostate Cancer, which we're going to be talking about today. And he travels in their nonprofit fruit and veggie wrapped wellness wagon with his wife, Mindy, to help people understand that what you eat is the most important thing for your health. And it's so funny, Bruce, when I was reading this, I'm very literal. So I'm thinking, how do they wrap their van with fruit and vegetable, thinking there's going to be a trail of flies or something? Anyway, the vision that I had was amazing. So anyway, thank you so much for meeting with us here today. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for inviting me to be on. I feel very privileged.
You're always so interesting. I was telling Minnie before, your presentations have been fabulous. Your cooking classes that you've even done have been really interesting. And you cook great food. And I don't know, Annie would never tell you, but she eats a completely plant-based diet. So
I have for 55 years. I'm 64.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, it's actually when I was 9.
What happened 55 years ago?
I grew up in a large family of mostly boys, and we had all the, basic meat, potato type diet. And for some reason, I got really physically ill when I tried to eat any meat. I hated it. And so at the age of 9 is when my parents stopped forcing me to eat it. So it wasn't a health choice or a saving animal choice. I just physically couldn't eat it. And at 9 is when I was able to stop. And I've never had it for 55 years.
Without knowing anything, you made a great choice for your health and the animals.
Yeah, I guess I innately knew, I just didn't like it. But anyway.
So Bruce, can you tell us about your 1 day to wellness? And I really want to know more about this.
Yeah, sure. So about how many years ago, Min? 4 years ago, I've been following Mindy around in the fitness. She convinced me to quit my job and go in the fitness industry with her. Could you, the dog is
a little squeaky toy.
She said, you should quit your corporate job and come into business with me. And for the longest time, I just said I'd love to do it, but we have 3 kids and we have kids and a lot of expenses. So finally, about 15, 16 years ago, she convinced me to do it. And during the course of, I started going to a lot of these conventions with Mindy, and I always had an interest in nutrition, sort of a passing interest, but I really, when I was diagnosed with cancer 10 years ago, I really dove in and began studying it full time. But I noticed at all these fitness conferences that there was a real lack of evidence-based presentations on not telling people this is what you need to do, but if we just take a step back and not making any judgment, and we just look at the scientific research that's available to date, it really becomes very clear that if health is your goal and longevity is your goal, eating a whole food plant-based diet is the best choice to do that. Not I'm trying to change your behavior or anything else, but let's start with the facts. And that is the fact. And a lot of people, there's no money to be made in it. So that's, telling people to eat fruits and vegetables or letting them know the information of why they should is difficult to make money. And that's why you don't hear about it as much as you should. And these fitness conferences, they're all trying to sell stuff for the most part. So we thought, you know what, let's start a nonprofit. We talked with Dr. Michael Greger at nutritionfacts.org, and he encouraged us and said he would support us and be our main educational partner, but we would have to set it up as a nonprofit. and we couldn't take any money from the pharmaceutical, food, or drug industries. And I said, that sounds great. Let's do it. And we did. And so it's a 1 Day to Wellness is a 9-hour really immersion into evidence-based. We spend a couple hours talking about the scientific research and why. I mean, you can't just tell somebody this is the great thing to do. You got to, for me, I need to know why I'm doing something, right?
Right.
And so, uh, in our 9-hour day, we go through the research. Then we talk about mindfulness because we really feel, at least for me, as I made that transition, I transitioned to a whole food plant based diet 10 years ago uh, in my early 50s, but I ate the worst diet on the planet. So I go through how we, and the whole program is really threaded with how we changed our behavior. And the bottom line, we spend a lot of time talking about behavioral change. Everybody knows, for the most part, that they should be eating more in this direction. I mean, that's common knowledge, but we all know the most difficult thing to do is change lifelong habits. And you're lucky that you did it when you were so young, because it doesn't get. We all know it doesn't get easier as you get older. And so that's what our program is really all about. It's really sort of our story and how we evolved in that area, and then that helps people understand. Hey, these are just regular folks that actually ate the normal standard American diet and saw the research, got ill, and changed their diet. And we just try to bring people along in the program and show them how and why we did it without any judgment, without telling anybody what we think they should do. But here's what we did, and here's the power of what we did. And I can tell you, based on just my health outcome, it's the most powerful thing that I've ever done in my life. And it so powerful that I said, this is what I've got to do full time to help people understand that they can't, why they need to do this, and that they can do this. And that's a quick overview of the program.
It's really
and we're not
amazing.
selling anything. The only thing we sell are fruit and vegetable T-shirts.
Yeah.
We don't. There are no shakes, supplements, pills, or potions. They don't work. What works for people's health is.
It's incredible to share your story and to know that it comes from a place where you actually experienced. It's not coming from somebody like me saying, well, I've never done it. And, like you actually had a horrible diet and a horrible diagnosis. And I think there was one thing I was looking at where you showed what your horrible diet was, what your transitional diet was, and then what your diet ultimately became, which I think is incredibly powerful, because it shows people that you don't just go from here to there. There's a transition, and that you actually lived it, which is important. And I think the other thing that you just got across is that you don't tell people what to do. I think people are motivated by pain and fear, and it's only then that they pay attention. But because they may be paying attention, you're presenting it in a way that's doable, which is important element to it all also. So I want to know more about how you make that transition to a whole food, plant-based diet, what, your best strategy would be.
Well, as you mentioned, Annie, the biggest motivators of pain and fear of an early death.
Right.
And I was in no pain, but I got to wake up. I actually transitioned eating a plant-based diet, or started moving in that direction before I was about 6 months before I was diagnosed with cancer. I weighed about 40 pounds more than I do now. My cholesterol was super high, and that's what my doctor said, I'm going to put you on statins because my cholesterol is about 276 at the time. I was overweight. I was eating and drinking whatever I wanted. I knew I was a mess. And we were flying across the country to another conference, and I just happened to read Mindy. Somebody had given Mindy the book, The China Study by Dr. T. Colin Campbell, which is a foundational book that anybody interested in their health should really read. And I read it flying across the country, and it just blew my mind, because I thought I knew pretty much that I was, what a good healthy diet was. But I've always been a science-based person, and the science behind cancer and foods in that book just blew me away. And he also said you don't need to go on statins to lower your cholesterol. I went on a whole food plant-based. I dove in. And when you talk about the best way to transition, I'm going to tell you the best way to transition, I believe, is to dive in 100%. because like it's like smoking cigarettes. Are you gonna try to quit smoking cigarettes by going from a pack a day to half a pack a day to a quarter pack? You can't. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You have to make up your mind. Look, I'm doing this for my health. All the research indicates that I could do it. There's never been a better time to do it because the support available from nonprofits like our One Day to Wellness organization and thousands of others, there are millions of people moving in this direction because it is the only thing that really helps people get better. And furthermore, I know I got cancer because of my diet. I gave myself cancer. And it's time that people like myself stand up and let other people know that cancer is not a genetic lottery that you just get it and there's nothing you can do about it. There is a major genetic component to getting any chronic disease. But that genetic component does not have to be activated and expressed. And what we know now through all the research is that your diet, through epigenetics, the underlying changing the genetic expression of your DNA, not changing the fundamental DNA, just changing how it expresses itself, is the difference between getting cancer and not getting cancer, getting heart disease and not getting heart disease, getting diabetes and not getting diabetes. It is the food that you put in your mouth every single day. And what more important message can we give to anybody else than if you're interested in living, we know the longest lived society is what they eat. They eat the way we eat. It's very simple. And the other news is that the food is awesome. I've always been a gourmet. I always loved to eat, but I transitioned. I was horrified. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, where fried chicken is a food group in Atlanta, Georgia. To this day, I have to steer away from fried foods. And, you talk about, Gretchen, the transition that I made, we're still making tweaks to our diet. We only eliminated oils from our diet like 5 years ago after learning about the detriments of added oils of all types to our diet. So it's an ongoing process, but to get started, we say in our program, One Day to Wellness, there are dippers and there are divers. And you can just see on people's faces as the science unfolds, it's very clear. But they're like, oh my gosh, I just can't make that kind of change. But you really can. I mean, and that's the way that we've found out that that's been the most successful, people have been most successful doing that way. Diving in and making that change, eliminating all the dairy, and we'll help you every step of the way.
That's really powerful. And when you think about it, really, what's the bottom line? Your health. How difficult
it's your
is it?
health.
Yeah.
And it's your goals. What do you if your goal is to stay healthy and stay vibrant and be active as you age and live longer than the average American, this is what you have. Drugs are not going to do it. The medical system is focused, unfortunately, on making money.
Yeah.
And to this day, it's a travesty that to this day, medical students still do not get any education in nutrition. At the National Institutes of Health, there's not a division called nutrition. It's all about reductionist science in order to try to pull components out of individual plants or whatever and make money off of it. And that's unfortunately has steered us into the situation that we have with all this chronic diabetes, cancer, heart disease, food, period.
You're right. And I really,
all I do is the research. And again, it's all I say is I'm not going to tell anybody what, but if you're interested and you are saying, I understand this, I'm here to help. I'll do anything to help you.
This is something
you can avoid getting cancer.
Right. And everybody,
including breast cancer. Breast cancer and prostate cancer are food-borne illnesses. And unfortunately, I had to wake up after I got the diagnosis. So if I can help somebody not get that diagnosis, great.
I love this. And also, I think I've watched you cook, and your recipes are fabulous. You're not sacrificing anything to eat your plant-based diet. So your enthusiasm is just popping off the screen. I want to know how you can tell us how to age enthusiastically. What's your prescription for aging enthusiastically?
Have a great wife. I, I have the most wonderful wife on the planet. I really do. I mean, that's for me. She's just. I wouldn't be here without her today. I mean, I have had such a horrible mental struggle since being diagnosed. I mean, I'm still dealing. I have to fly back to California next week for the 927th PSMA scan where they inject me with radioactive tracers to again try to locate where the cancer is, and based on the treatments that I've already had, what we can do. And there really isn't a whole lot I can do except for take really good care of my health and eat really well. And the ironic thing is, other than the mental torture associated with this, is that I feel better than I've ever felt in my entire physically.
Good.
And I say torture, mental torture. I'm generally in a very good mood, and I feel fantastic. I feel better than I do when I was 25.
Wow.
But I
What's
do,
better
I
than
do
that?
know I have advanced prostate cancer, and it's probably going to take me down at some point. So I just push it back as hard as I can.
It's awesome.
And for cooking, we've got over 30 recipes on our website. And Gretchen, you're absolutely right. I was so afraid when I made the transition. Oh, I dropped my cholesterol by 100 points in 6 weeks. That's where I was going at. When I read the China study, I got off the plane. I go, I'm not going to barbecue. I'm a vegan now, Mindy. And she's like, what are you talking about? And 6 weeks later, I dove in, and I wasn't perfect. I was a mess. I was eating a lot of oil and probably still drinking too much alcohol, but my cholesterol dropped by 100 points in 6 weeks without any drugs. And I took that information in and I showed my doctor my blood test, the one that wanted to put me on statins for the rest of my life. And I said, look at this. I dropped just by eating a plant based diet. And he looked at it and he goes, your PSA is high.
Oh.
And I said, what is PSA? And that was when I found out I had advanced prostate cancer because I'd been eating a crappy diet my whole life that activated the wrong genes
Yeah.
and ended up expressing themselves.
Well, Bruce, I'll tell you, I'm going to get this interview before we post it from Gretchen, and I'm going to have my husband sit down because he eats the exact diet that you just described. He's dynamically opposite from me, so you're going to help
How
me.
do you do that, Annie? I mean, how do you? I couldn't have.
We're all adults. I don't fight. It's like, are you scared yet? Are you in pain yet?
But when you're cooking dinner, I mean,
yeah, I cook when I eat, and he supplements with the meat.
I understand.
Anyway,
Listen. I know. I've been there, and I didn't think there was any way, and I
I
didn't
know
want it.
he will.
That's the
He
other
will.
thing. If you're not motivated to do it's, no one's going to help you do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it
right.
has to
And
be
I'm
a
just
decision.
waiting for that
It's got to be
motivation.
a decision right here.
That's right.
No
But
one's
you're
going
going
to
to
do
help
it
with
for
that.
you.
You're going to help with that. All right. So listen, when we do post this, we're going to give everybody the information to find you, your website, bruceandmindy.com, one day to total fit, one day to
Wellness.
wellness,
One day
sorry,
to wellness.
wellness.org. And we're going to get everybody
That
to,
includes fitness.
yeah. And so we'll share this with everybody. And I want everybody, I hope, is following us on Donuts and Pie Fitness, and we'll share it with your friends because you may help them change their life as well if you do that.
Or
So
at least
yeah,
give them some additional information that they
that's
might
right.
not be aware of,
Right.
because this information can still be difficult to find.
Right.
The last thing I wanted to say is I did write a book about my journey with prostate cancer, and it is called A Plant-Powered Approach to Prostate Cancer. You can buy it on Amazon. And the book is about my journey, but it's a pretty deep dive. I interviewed almost all the eminent scientists that did the work on this relationship between nutrition and cancer, and it's for anybody that's got it. This book will, I believe, will benefit anyone that has cancer or anyone that's concerned about it, and it's I don't leave anything out, including all the pain.
we'll include a link to that also on this video, so everyone
Great.
will have access to it. It'd be great. Bruce, thank you so much. And have a wonderful time in your wellness wagon. And
We're
we'll
headed to Arizona today.
okay,
I
good.
put on shorts.
Shorts. That's great. And I'm sure we'll see you at a conference sooner than later. That would be wonderful. Can't wait.
Great. Well, thanks again,
All
Gretchen.
right.
I really appreciate the
It was
time to
great
talk with
talking
you.
with you, Bruce.
Thanks.
Well.
Bye bye.